Good day, class. Today we are going to work on force. It's a new term. We have not gone over this before spring break, so we're going to add this term. Now, yesterday you had vocabulary words that you were getting familiar with, so we're going to discuss force today. Now, our goal, we want to define force and identify how force is shown. So I will be giving you some examples today in our video, and then you'll also be able to find some examples of how force is shown in your everyday life. Okay? All right, so what is force? Force is a push or pull action on an object. Now, a lot of people get confused with force being a type of energy, like electrical energy, solar energy, light energy, thermal energy. Now, force does cause movement, and we know that energy is anything that has movement. It is not an energy though. Force is actually an action that happens to an object, resulting in a push or pull. Now I'm going to show you some examples of how force can be pushed or pulled on an object. So, push or pull. Force is a push or pull action on an object. Now action means to do something, right? Juggling is doing something, running, any sort of movement is doing something. It's an action, okay? Push or pull is the way that we can see force applied to an object. So I have the swing here, and I'm going to show you a force applied to the swing. So I can pull it, that's a force, or I can push it, right? Now when the force runs out, that object will stay there. If I want to continue to add force to it, I'm going to need to pull or push. There are several types of forces that we can see, but one of the most famous ones that you're going to hear about is gravity. Gravity is a force that pulls, and it only pulls. It doesn't push anything, or else we'd be flying through the air. Luckily, it pulls. How can I see gravity pull or apply force to this soccer ball? Well, let's see. Okay? If the force was not applied to the soccer ball, it would float in the air without my hand. But gravity pulls the soccer ball down, applying force that we see here. Now that we know force is a push or pull action that is applied to an object, let's go ahead and observe some ways we can use force. Force is being used on this car right now, and that's called gravity. It's keeping it pulled down. If I were to pick it up and let go, gravity pulls our car down. Let's apply some other force to this car. I'm going to push the car, and we're going to watch as it rolls off. Now I can pull it back and see that that action was put onto the car. Without those actions, it's just going to stay still. There are other ways that we can see force happen. That's called friction. Friction is resistance, or it acts against an object. So this is not the most smooth surface. It's more friction. If I were to have a nice glass surface, our car would probably roll a lot better. As the car rolls, friction acts against it and will slow our car down to a stop. We're going to observe now two cars, one with our surface here and another with some sand. Which section do you think on our surface will have the most friction? I think I know which one it's going to be. Ready? So as we see here, our blue car had more friction, and that force was stopping it from continuing, while our green car had less friction, and it was able to continue to move. Here's another example of resistance on an object when we talk about force. So I'm going to apply force to this soccer ball. I'm going to push it with my foot, and we're going to observe how this grass resists the soccer ball from continuing to move. If there was no resistance, the ball would probably travel pretty far. Let's see how far this ball will go across our grass as I add force, and we'll watch the resistance slow it down. Now, if I were to do the same action, put force on that soccer ball, But we were on an ice rink or I was on a nice smooth surface, I would think that the soccer ball would continue to move further. Let's go ahead and try. I'm going to give it a nice soft force, and I'm going to count my footsteps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Now I'd like to move over to this smoother surface, and we'll see if the resistance change. So I will now apply the force, pushing, and we will see if this surface here is smoother. A lot smoother. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So you can see the difference in our surfaces with the resistance. So let's review today. Now we talked about force being a push or pull action. You can see here I've got wind pushing my windmill, so it is forcing my windmill to move. We also noticed that we have friction or resistance on an object that can be seen when we're looking at force 2 with our soccer ball and the cars. Tomorrow you are going to be applying force to some of your own objects at home. I hope you guys had a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.